A terrified young servant girl stares into a silver mirror, illuminated only by trembling candlelight, until she suddenly notices her reflection smiling back, while her own face remains frozen in fear. For thousands of years, mirrors have terrified humanity with frightening stories about cursed reflections, trapped souls, hidden spirits, and mysterious visions appearing beyond the surface of polished glass. People once believed mirrors could steal human souls, imprison wandering spirits forever, predict death before it arrived, and even open terrifying gateways connecting humanity to another hidden world. Even today, many people still cover mirrors after funerals, avoid staring into mirrors at night, and feel deeply uncomfortable standing before reflections inside complete darkness. But these terrifying fears did not emerge from imagination alone, because hidden behind every shining mirror lies a disturbing history filled with obsession, poison, psychological horror, and death. Tonight, we uncover the dark secrets behind humanity's strangest invention, exploring how ordinary mirrors became objects connected forever to fear, madness, death, and supernatural mystery throughout history. Long before modern glass mirrors existed, humans were already obsessed with reflections. The earliest mirrors were made over 8,000 years ago from polished volcanic stone in ancient Anatolia. Later civilizations used copper, bronze, and obsidian to create reflective surfaces. But these weren't perfect mirrors. The reflections were blurry, distorted, ghost-like. Looking into one felt less like seeing yourself and more like staring into another version of reality. Ancient civilizations quickly attached spiritual meaning to mirrors. In ancient Egypt, mirrors were linked to the soul and the afterlife. In Greece and Rome, people believed mirrors could reveal messages from the gods. Some priests practiced catoptromancy, a ritual where mirrors were used to predict the future or communicate with spirits. This fear became so widespread that in many cultures, mirrors were covered after someone died. Others feared demons might use mirrors as gateways into the living world. And strangely, those beliefs never fully disappeared. Even in modern times, mirrors still make people uncomfortable in ways science struggles to explain. But the real darkness behind mirrors wasn't only supernatural, it was physical, rooted in real industrial history and human suffering. During the Middle Ages and Renaissance, creating mirrors became one of Europe's most secretive industries, especially in Venice's island of Murano. Venetian craftsmen on Murano perfected crystal-clear mirrors, something no other kingdom could replicate in Europe at the time, successfully. But there was a horrifying cost hidden behind this perfection, paid by workers who handled dangerous materials every single day. The process required mercury, a highly toxic liquid metal, used to create reflective backing for early glass mirrors in workshops. Workers spread liquid mercury behind sheets of glass to create the reflective surface in poorly ventilated workshops across Renaissance Venice. Day after day, they inhaled toxic fumes inside poorly ventilated workshops, slowly poisoning their bodies and damaging their nervous systems. Mirror makers suffered trembling hands, hallucinations, memory loss, paranoia, and violent mood swings caused by mercury poisoning over time exposure. Some went insane. Others died young, as chronic mercury exposure destroyed both mind and body, leaving permanent neurological damage and early death.
Historians now believe mercury poisoning may explain why mirror workshops developed such sinister reputations across Europe during the Renaissance period.
But the Venetian government had another secret, enforcing strict control over mirror production and protecting their monopoly with extreme measures. They guarded mirror-making techniques with terrifying brutality, controlling craftsmen, trade routes, and knowledge to maintain absolute economic dominance in Europe. Craftsmen were forbidden from leaving Venice, trapped on the island under constant surveillance to prevent industrial secrets from escaping out. Some who attempted escape were hunted down or assassinated to protect the monopoly, showing how far Venice would go to guard mirrors.
As mirrors spread across Europe, people began reporting something deeply unsettling when staring too long into reflections under dim candlelight and shadow.
In low light, the human brain begins distorting facial recognition, creating hallucinations now known as the strange face illusion phenomenon. To medieval families without science, these terrifying experiences confirmed their worst fears, convincing them that mirrors were alive or possessed by unseen forces. This terror created dangerous superstitions, including the belief that breaking a mirror caused 7 years of bad luck and spiritual damage. Mirrors also became deeply connected to witchcraft and occult rituals, where fortune tellers used dark polished surfaces for spiritual communication. Some nobles even performed seances using candlelit mirrors, believing they could contact the dead or see hidden spirits among reflections. The most disturbing ritual involved staring into mirrors at midnight, hoping to see visions of future lovers, fate, or even one's own death. By the 19th century, mirrors became common household objects, yet Victorian society still feared them during death and mourning rituals. Homes were filled with mirrors, yet families covered them whenever someone died, believing reflections could trap or disturb wandering spirits. Haunted mirror legends spread widely, warning that staring into a mirror at midnight might reveal something that should never be seen. Psychologists now explain these experiences as sensory distortion and expectation-driven hallucinations caused by prolonged staring in low-light conditions. But for centuries, without scientific explanations, these hallucinations were seen as proof that mirrors were alive or connected to supernatural realms. That belief fueled one of the most dangerous superstitions in history. Breaking a mirror would bring 7 years of bad luck. The belief came from ancient Roman ideas that the human body and spirit renewed every 7 years in a complete life cycle. Shattering a mirror symbolically meant damaging your soul, because people believed reflections contained part of your spiritual essence. Meanwhile, mirrors became strongly associated with witchcraft and occult practices across Europe, especially during periods of superstition and fear. Fortune tellers used black mirrors during rituals, believing they could communicate with spirits or glimpse hidden futures within reflections. Some nobles even conducted seances using mirrors and candlelight, attempting to contact deceased loved ones or see spirits hidden in reflections. One of the most disturbing rituals involved staring into mirrors at midnight, hoping to see visions of fate, lovers, or even one's own death. Sometimes, Participants claimed they actually saw these visions, reinforcing belief in supernatural power hidden within mirrors. By the 19th century, mirrors had become common household objects across Europe, appearing in bedrooms, halls, and grand Victorian interiors everywhere. But instead of reducing fear, their widespread presence actually intensified humanity's obsession with reflection, identity, and appearance. Victorian society became deeply fascinated with death, mourning rituals, and supernatural symbolism, especially surrounding mirrors in the home. Photographs from the era even show mirrors being covered with black cloth during funerals, believed to protect against spiritual disturbances or trapped souls. Then came the rise of haunted mirror legends, stories warning that cursed mirrors could trap spirits or reveal terrifying visions at midnight. Psychologists explain this as expectation-driven hallucination, where the brain fills in patterns and creates frightening illusions in dim, repetitive visual conditions. But regardless of explanation, mirrors still triggered discomfort in many people, especially when used in dark rooms or silent environments. Some scientists believe this happens because the brain struggles to process an unchanging reflection, causing familiarity to slowly transform into visual distortion. This means the fear people felt centuries ago may have been real in experience, even if the cause was misunderstood by science. Ultimately, the ghosts were never inside the mirror itself. They existed within the human mind, shaped by perception, fear, and imagination. And that is why mirrors continue to disturb humanity even after thousands of years, because every reflection raises questions we still cannot fully answer. When you stare into a mirror, are you truly seeing yourself, or only the version your mind allows you to see? So the next time you pass a mirror late at night, remember the long history of fear, obsession, and mystery behind this ordinary object. Because sometimes the most ordinary things in our world hide the darkest secrets, waiting quietly to be seen again.